Hello everyone! Welcome to a new series. Yeah, it supports an autosave. Welcome to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is my first Ace Attorney game I'll be covering. It's probably not the best one I should be covering right about now to start the series. But at the time I started on this, I didn't have the Ace Attorney series, the Ace Attorney trilogy on PlayStation. I only had it for the DS, and I really don't have the best way to record handheld stuff and make it look good. I don't have a capture card, and I'm not likely to get one anytime soon. So without further ado, let's get things started. Alright, we have Ace Attorney Resolve, and we have Adventures. We're doing the first one.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation.
I think it was during the Meiji Restoration.
The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
You look familiar. And of course you look familiar. It's because you're the main character. Chapter 1, The Adventure of the Great Departure. And I guess he's supposed to be Phoenix Wright's great, I don't know, ancestor. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How could it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? You're not important enough to have a full face, I guess. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Runosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumei University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. That's the kind of thing we need. Unfortunately, not much has changed. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? We're the protagonists, of course we never did it. Of course not! You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. You mean, I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University, and for some bizarre reason the wind follows him wherever he goes, even inside. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's an qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. And the qualifications don't mean much. Yet. He said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Really. 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're gonna get to study abroad at last. I know! I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. The American legal system? No, I'm kidding. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. That's called his bandana. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean, to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Not much to see. I shouldn't say that. It was actually pretty impressive at the time. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Excuse me, wow. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? You look familiar. You'll be important later. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case is personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. Your advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. See you at the court. Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. Don't look at me like that. If I may... Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Runosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. That's totally right. My name is Yujin Mikatova. I'm professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikatova. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi's been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. My sound bar is being weird today. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. Hang on one moment. Alright. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it! I swear it! I'm not a murderer! I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry, what do you mean? You'll soon understand. Once proceedings get underway. But what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do. But what will the question be? Surely not. Okay. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions ought to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? You want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Rude. Alright, this is it. This trial goes badly. Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence? The trial that would decide my destiny. (22nd of November, 9 o'clock a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now... You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, it's you. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Hang on, one moment. Alright, I'm back.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
Ouchie. Yeah, if I'm right, that's Gaspin and Winston Payne's Japanese name. And boy, does this guy sure look like them. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Alright, here's our question. Who's gonna defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defending, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. May I go to the bathroom? What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. You have any idea how stressful this has been? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself, and my soundbar really doesn't want to cooperate with my recording. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikatova told me everything. Just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No! It's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikatova shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Don't try this at home, kiddies, unless you really know your law.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. I'm panicking inside. Yeah, Look at those eyes. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought here before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present.
Man, I'd like your beard if not for the fact that my facial hair is itchy as hell.
Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So, let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in the case.
No, I don't want to auto. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard this name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Runosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank.
You know me so well.
All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. I can't even find that! It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of R. Okay. If you ever find just consult that. It's all there. Okay, there we go. Here's the list of evidence we've collected. People with R. 23. 42. 51. 47. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record. Press X to present. Try it now. I'm halfway tempted to present Takatsuchi Aochi, but I'm not going to.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Wilson! Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we've just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. I want to think this is actually a real event.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. Spilt, not split. Bleh, 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 bleh. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
Well, I'll give him this much. He's putting up a lot more of a fight than his ancestors sure will. Or not his ancestors, his descendants sure will.
I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea! After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait! I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name. Still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
Cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Nosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present.
Do it now!
Post-Mortem Report. Alright, death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body.
Yes!
Well, according to these documents, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Learn to read, you imbecile! That's the post-mortem report, I take it.
Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, the doctor dissects corpse to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. That is a mood. That is definitely a mood.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of a crime. As you can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion.
Wow, definitely going back with gunpowder bullets. Shit.
In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Well, at least he wasn't shot with more Daka. Otherwise, there might not be anyone left.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record.
Alright, photographic print has been entered in the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. And they're going to get better in time. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible.
Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of this case, The prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor has in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikatova? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course! When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be gratefully appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Oh, this guy's like, the waiter from the first game.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hozunaga. I'm the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Dude! Why are you even here? You're coughing up blood. That's tuberculosis. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. It should. Tuberculosis is contagious. Well, it really, really should.
Everyone knows the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some time ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood, Hozunaga-san. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else at the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining hall to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. What is with these Ace Attorney guys and manhandling the gun? It happened to this guy. It happened to Edgeworth. And who knows who else it's gonna happen to.
Yes!
Hold on. Let me clarify something here. When I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I ask you to refrain from petty interjections.
Okay, that's gonna get a little off to get used to, because I'm used to the Japanese voice. I actually was just hot off of watching Pharaoh's stream of this game, which was a translated Japanese version.
The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Rinosuke, you'll have your chance to fight back. For now, you must just quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in her hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Huh?
Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Rinosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson was alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy?
Ooh, scary shiny glasses.
No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it.
Just like don't believe the fact that you're still standing with tuberculosis. That's awful. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Sketch of the establishment's layout. You're done by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, a gentleman in question was seated alone.
Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter.
Thank you, sir.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Well...
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once.
Of course. Here you are. Somebody doesn't like that we have this. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something seems to have shaken him. And it's not that coughing up blood. Waiter's business card has been entered into the court record.
So, the court has now heard a process of this case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence and from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikatova said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Runosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. Oh, and you also might need a new stand. I may have chopped through it. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive the evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Auchi, please continue with the proceedings.
Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be.
You know, if you were a devil, I'd probably have come up against you in Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2. And even then,
you probably wouldn't be that high up on the pantheon. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced. Forever! The prosecution calls its next witness.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir! The Great Nippon Imperial Army's Sergeant Yasunosa, purporting for duty, sir!
Wah, wah, wah. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Masute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Koretuka, or Kurikuta, at your service.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing!
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take the tea of the most exquisite aroma of the establishment in question. Always post-noon. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios from which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative! Also, sorry about your witness stand. The enemy unit was seen attacking a foreigner and can only be described as an act of war, sir! It was that black uniformed rogue entryman over there who unloaded his firemen, sir! Was that a baby crying? This man's as impossible to understand as the other. I wouldn't say that. He's easier to understand. Also, I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier's claiming he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? No, but I think we need to cut it here. So, I believe we will. In our next episode, we will continue our first trial and see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.